So we're going to go ahead and get started in a seated meditation. So feel free to cross your legs. You can have your ankles either crossed or uncrossed in front of you. Some sort of seat that you can sit in for the next few minutes. And whenever you've found your perfect seat, go ahead and close your eyes. And take a few rounds focusing on your breath, inhaling in and out of your nose. Giving yourself this moment to arrive. You've done the hardest part, which is to show up to the mat. And the rest is easy from here. Good, and then let's go ahead and take a few rounds of Samavritti Pranayama, which is same count breath practice. It's also known as box breathing. So what we're going to do here is we're going to inhale for 3 counts, hold our breath for 3 counts, exhale for 3 counts, and then hold our breath for 3 counts, and then again. So first, exhaling everything out. Take an inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3. Again, inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3. Good. Taking a few moments to continue this breath practice. Taking a few moments to practice. See what this feels like in the body. There are many benefits to holding your breath for a short period of time. It helps move the prana, the life force within the body. Good. And as you're practicing this, I'd like to share an excerpt from the book, The Body Keeps the Score, that I was reading today that really, really resonated with me. And it goes, in yoga, you focus your attention on your breathing and on your sensations, moment to moment. You begin to notice the connection between your emotions and your body. Perhaps how anxiety about doing a pose actually throws you off balance. You begin to experiment with changing the way you feel. Will taking a deep breath relieve the tension in your shoulder? Will focusing on your exhalations produce a sense of calm? Simply noticing what you feel fosters emotional regulation, and it helps you to stop trying to ignore what is going on inside you. Good, and continuing your breath practice. I think we all know all the amazing, amazing benefits of yoga, but this was just another reminder, even for me, about how all these practices can help us And in this case, it was talking about emotional regulation. Good. After your next exhale, let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath together. Inhaling, 1, 2, 3. This time exhaling, 1, 2, 3. And giving yourself a moment to rest. And then let's go ahead and take a scan of the body, which I will guide you through. Taking a moment to notice the sensations that you're feeling. Any sort of feeling in a particular area that we're focusing on. Starting at the top of the head, the crown. Moving down to your forehead, your eye sockets. Noticing any sensations. Moving to your nose, your cheeks, down to your mouth and your jaw. Looking for sensations here. It could even be the air on your skin. Moving down to your throat, your neck area, then to your shoulders, moving down your spine, from your upper back to your middle, to your lower back, and then bringing attention to your chest, the heart region, and moving down your sternum into your belly, noticing sensations that arise or that are already there. Good, and then moving to your hips, and then to your upper legs, your knees, down to your lower legs, down to your ankles, and then to your feet, and then your toes. Good, all while breathing, while we do this meditation, focusing on the sensations in the body, bringing your attention to your arms, starting at your upper arms, moving to your elbows, and then your lower arms, making your way to your wrists, and then to your palms, all the way to your fingertips. Good, taking a nice deep breath here, and exhaling. Good, and from here we'll open our eyes slightly, allowing a little bit of light in, and then fluttering your eyes open. Good, and with your palms rested on your thighs, let's start to take some shoulder rolls towards the back of the room. Noticing how your shoulders feel as we offer them some movement. Good, Good. And then rolling them to the front. Breathing in and out of your nose here. And then finding stillness. And then taking a few rounds, rolling into your neck if it feels okay on your neck. Taking a few rounds in one direction. Good, and then switching directions. Making sure you're coming back to your breath. Good, and then bringing your head and neck back to center. And then with your palms on your thighs, we're gonna move our torso in a circular direction. Just starting in any direction that feels good. Noticing how it feels to offer movement to your body. Good. And then switching directions. And then coming back to center. Awesome. All right. So for our first pose, we're going to make our way to a wide-legged child's pose. So start off by bringing your big toes together, knees apart. Trying to bring your hips as close to your heels as possible, or towards the mat would be good. So if you can sit on them, great. If they're slightly raised, that's totally fine as well. And then slowly walk your palms, bringing your forehead onto the mat, releasing your arms long. If you do need a pillow here, you can bring a pillow to rest along your torso. If you need a pillow for your forehead, go for it. Wide knee child's pose. Coming back to the breath here. Notice how it feels in the body as we first have arrived into this pose. You may feel sensations in your hip region, your groin, your inner thigh. And of course, these are just suggestions. You may also feel it in other parts of the body. Just making sure you can feel something, as long as it's not pain, a sharp pain. Dull aches are totally allowed. Take this time to close your eyes if you aren't already. And focus your attention on the body. What sensations are you noticing? Or even if it's not a sensation or something you can make out, what do you notice? breathe into what you're feeling. And also notice if you are feeling tension in any part of the body. Are you gripping in any part of the body? And if so, try to offer some relief through the breath. Taking nice deep breaths here. We'll go ahead and take 5 more deep breaths. And after you've completed your 5th breath, very, very slowly walk your palms towards you. Taking small movements, no, not rushing. And then bring your knees in together and just hold in kneeling pose. Giving yourself a few moments to adjust. Since we're stretching our deep tissues, we want to give them time to adjust, which helps them strengthen, which helps with mobility, flexibility, all the good stuff. So just noticing the sensations coming out of the pose. Good. Take one more deep breath here. And then very slowly come forward into a tabletop position. With your palms below your shoulders, your knees below your hips. And from here, let's take a few rounds of cow and cat. On an inhale, dropping your belly, bringing your chin towards the front. And then exhale, bringing your chin towards your chest, rounding your spine. Just offering a little bit of movement into the spine here, slowly. Good, and then whenever you're ready, finding stillness. Back in tabletop position. Good, and then from here, we'll release our right leg long. And curling your toes underneath, coming onto the ball of your foot. Press into your toes so that you can feel your toes pressing into the mat and the ball of your foot in the mat as well. And then we'll start rocking back and forth from our arms to help stretch out our calves. We'll just take a few rounds like this. Good. And then release your right knee back to tabletop position. And then we'll move into the left side, straightening the left leg and then bringing the ball of your foot onto the mat, curling your toes underneath, and then rocking back and forth. Noticing how this might feel different than the previous side. left knee back to tabletop position. Good. And then we're going to make our way into our next pose, which is seal or sphinx. So we'll start off by bringing our legs long onto the mat. And I'll start off by showing sphinx pose. So in sphinx, you have both of your forearms parallel on the mat. So this is a bit of a back arch, and we are going to be slumping our head and neck forward if this feels okay for you. If not, you can keep your head upright. So this is sphinx. And the second option is seal pose, coming onto your palms, bringing your palms about a foot apart, or whatever feels comfortable for you. If you need it to be a little bit wider, that's okay as well. This is a slightly more intense back arch. And once again, slumping your head and neck forward. So those are the two options if you want to start in seal and then go to sphinx. That's totally fine. Just remember to move very slowly. So give yourself a moment to find your pose. The first step is finding your pose and your edge in the pose. Remembering that this is our time to feel. Notice any sensations that are arising in the body. And with that, also notice if there's any part of the body that you're really grasping in or on. Maybe try breathing into those areas. Trying your best to hold in as much stillness as you can. And the stillness helps further work into the deep tissues. Remembering to come back to your breath. Moving oxygen, which is moving energy through the body. And we'll go ahead and take 5 deep breaths to complete this pose. Remembering to take your time. There's no rush. Make sure they're complete breaths. And after you've completed your 5th breath, very slowly bring your arms so that they're parallel with the top of the mat, making your arms a pillow for your forehead. Release your forehead onto your arms. And hold here for a moment. Giving the body time to rest. And even when you're in your resting pose, making sure that you're not gripping or clenching in any part of the body. Try to do periodic scans to make sure, scans of the body. You may notice there are parts of the body that you tend to have more tension in. And breathing into those areas to offer them relief. Good. From here, bending your knees, bringing your feet to face the ceiling. Flop your feet from side to side, windshield wiper. This may offer some lower back relief. Good. And then finding stillness here, releasing your legs long, and then very slowly press yourself up into tabletop position. Good. And from tabletop, we're going to move into half frog pose. So for half frog, I will demonstrate. We're bringing our big toes together and our knees wide on the mat. So if you are doing that and you notice your knees are going wider than the mat, you can make your way to face the long side of your mat. So that's an option, but I will continue demonstrating this way. So we're bringing our big toes together, our knees apart, and then keeping your hips above your knees. I know it might be hard to tell if they're exactly above, but you can at least make sure they're in the air. Start to bring your arms long onto the mat and your forehead down onto the mat. You also can use a pillow here, again for your torso. You can pat up your knees if that feels better, but moving the long way on your mat will probably help with that. So for half frog, start making your way there if you aren't already. Big toes together, knees apart, making sure your hips are in the air and in line with your knees, so not forward or not back. Not back like child's pose. And when you're ready, finding your edge in the pose. You may feel sensations immediately. Or it might take time. You may feel sensations in your hips, your inner thighs, just making sure you can feel something. Breathing very deeply into what you're feeling. Taking a moment to scan the body, noticing if you feel any gripping, any tension. And trying your best to let go. If at any point you start to notice thoughts come up, that's totally fine. Taking this moment to say, thank you, thought, and then let it go. Come back to your breath. Notice if the sensations in the body have changed since we got into the pose. Maybe there's a change in temperature or area of the body that's feeling sensation. Maybe it's pulsing or moving. Take note of what you're feeling right now. We'll go ahead and take 5 more deep breaths here. Taking your time once again, slowing down those breaths as much as you can. Good, and after you've completed your 5th breath, very slowly press yourself up. Walk your palms towards you. Bring your knees in together. And we'll actually make our way into tabletop position again. Just holding in a neutral spine for a moment. Making sure you're making nice small movements. Giving your body some time to adjust. And just holding in this tabletop for a few breaths. Good. And then from here, sitting back into a narrow leg child's pose. You can bring your knees together. And then if it feels good, bringing your arms by your side maybe, or they can be long. Bringing your head or forehead towards the mat. Good. And from here, slowly lift yourself up to come to a tall spine. And from here, slowly lift yourself up to stand. Good, and from standing, you might not see me fully on the camera, but we're gonna interlace our palms behind us, holding your palms behind you. First, start off coming to a tall spine, standing up nice and tall. Bring your shoulder blades together as you're interlacing your palms. Take an inhale. And on an exhale, very slowly, forward fold. Dropping your head down, allowing gravity to take you wherever it will. Your arms are up in the air. There is a bit of a shoulder stretch. If you need, you can bend your knees as much as you need here. Hold like this for 3 full breaths. After your 3rd breath, release your arms to dangle in front of you. Making sure your neck is nice and relaxed here. Again, you can bend your knees as much as you need. Just finding where gravity will take you here. And we'll hold in dangling pose for 3 breaths. Trying to find as much stillness as you can. Not worrying about if your palms touch your toes. Doesn't matter. And then after your 3rd breath, we're going to interlace our palms and our elbows and sway here side to side for ragdoll pose. Good, and then coming back to stillness with your arms dangling down. Micro bending the knees or bending them more than micro, it's totally fine. We'll hold here for 3 more breaths. Good. And then from here, with your feet, maybe a little bit wider than hips width distance, we're very slowly going to sit back into a squat pose. It's okay if your toes come out, face outward, that's fine, or if they face forward, that's fine too. If this is very intense, you can put a pillow underneath your sit bones with your feet out. That is totally fine too. And in the squat pose, wherever you are, we're going to bring our palms together and our elbows touching our inner thighs, maybe near your knees, wherever they fit. And we'll hold here for a few breaths. Good, really nice. Closing your eyes if you aren't already. Good. Let's take one inhale here together. First, exhaling everything out. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Opening your eyes slightly. And then fluttering your eyes open. Slowly sitting back onto your sits bones. Good. Release your legs in front of you. Arms by your side. Let's take a few moments to point our toes and then flex them. Bring them back towards you. And then point them. And then flex them. Good. One more time. Point. And then flex. Good. From here, bring your right ankle onto your left thigh, opening your knee out for a figure four. Bring your palms behind you. Very slowly bend into your left knee, bringing your left foot flat on the mat. So this is a seated figure four. You can bring that left foot as close or far as you need, finding your appropriate edge where you can feel the sensations. Also remembering that discomfort is totally allowed. In fact, it's welcomed. Good. And then start to straighten that left leg. And then straighten the right leg. And then moving on to the other side, left ankle onto right thigh. Opening your knee up here for figure four. Bringing your palms behind you. Start to bend your right knee. Making your way onto your right foot flat on the mat. Finding wherever feels right for you here. Noticing where you feel sensations. It might be in your hip region, maybe it's more like your outer hip. Or you may totally feel it somewhere else. Maybe noticing if this side feels different than the previous. Good, taking one more breath here. And then releasing your right leg long. And then your left leg long. Good. From here, making your way all the way onto your back. Whenever you're ready, hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. Rocking side to side. And from here, hug your right knee into your chest. Release your left leg long. Bringing that knee in as much as it'll come towards your chest. Feel that stretch. And then we'll start to bring the right knee over to the left for a supine twist. From here, bring your arms to a T and gaze to the right. And maybe give yourself a moment to feel how supine twist feels. So does it feel better if your right knee is closer to the mat? Or perhaps if your right shoulder is closer to the mat? There might be a little bit of rocking back and forth. If you want to try what feels good, just remembering slow movements. And whenever you've found your edge, finding stillness, and then closing your eyes and breathing very deeply into this pose. You can think of twists as wringing a towel, but it's like that inside your body. So your organs are being squeezed and stretched. Breathing very deeply into that. We'll go ahead and take 5 more deep breaths here. After your 5th breath, very slowly make your way onto your back. Bring your right knee to hug it right into your chest. Take a nice deep breath in here. And then start to bring the left knee into your chest to give yourself another big hug. Maybe rocking side to side. And then bring your left knee into your chest. Release your right leg long. Holding that left knee in really close to your chest, wherever it feels good. Maybe you feel a stretch here already. And then start to guide your left knee towards the right for supine twist on the opposite side. Bring your arms to a T and gaze to the left. Starting off by giving yourself a moment to feel how supine twist is in your body. Maybe that means rocking onto bringing your knee closer to the mat or your left shoulder. Where does it feel just right? And once you've found your appropriate edge. Close your eyes. Focus on your breath and the sensations in this pose. Trying to breathe fully. Maybe that means trying to feel your belly as it inflates and deflates. Maybe it feels slightly different than when you're not in supine twist. Trying to find as much stillness as you can. Both in the mind and in the body. Go ahead and take 5 more deep breaths here. And after you've completed your 5th breath, slowly make your way onto your back, hugging your left knee into your chest, followed by the right. Giving yourself a nice big hug, maybe rocking side to side. And then making your way into happy baby, bringing your feet towards the ceiling, bending at the knees, finding where it feels right for you to hold on. Maybe it's holding onto your shins or your ankles or the outside edges of your feet. Wherever you're holding onto, very gently pressing to bring your knees closer towards the mat. You can either hold here for a moment in stillness, or if it feels better to rock side to side, that's fine as well. It might feel like a massage. Let's take one nice deep breath here together. First exhaling everything out. Inhale. And exhale. And then whenever it feels right for you, make our way into our final pose, Shavasana. Taking up as much space here as you need. Bringing your legs long, flopping your feet out. If you want, you can put a bolster or a pillow under your knees. You can also place a blanket over you here, if that feels right. Bringing your arms by your side. Closing your eyes. And taking these last few moments Focusing on your breath, your sensations, as your body is sinking into the mat. Staying exactly where you are, keeping your eyes closed. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Start to bring some gentle movements into your body, moving your fingers and toes, maybe rolling into your wrists, your ankles. Move your head from side to side. Whenever you're ready, bring yourself onto one side. And keeping your eyes closed up to a seated position. Slow movements. And then whenever you're ready, bringing your palms to heart center. To conclude, let's take 3 deep breaths together. First, exhaling everything out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale.